welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with the USA IDA. I'm your host, Colleen Quigley Carey, and I am pumped because today I am joined by the gorgeous, the wonderful Thorn girls, Katie Friel and Hallie Thorn from Thorn Academy in Connecticut. Hi, girls.
Hi.
Oh, look, they've got their coffee too. That's awesome.
Of course, an Irish dancer cup.
Oh, that's so nice. Oh my gosh, guys, Elise Wright made this cup up for me. So I'm so excited to finally have my own branded cup. So
It's perfect.
yay. So today, everyone, we are going to talk about something that we feel is really important. Also got some feedback from parents asking us to kind of delve into this. We are going to talk about practicing and encouraging your Bun Grad dancers to practice. Like, how should I do this? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to like force them to dance for 3 hours a day? We're going to answer all those questions with our own opinions. And one thing we have to say, every dance teacher is a little bit different. And USA IDA, we're very collaborative. We like to talk to the other teachers. We like to see what people are doing. We like to know what they're telling their parents. We like to kind of work all together. So just remember that everything we talk about today is our own opinions and are coming from our own place of knowledge as dance teachers and dancers and parents ourselves. Katie also has some kids as well. And I'm going to share a little bit about my daughter too, which I think can be helpful to some parents as well. All right, so girls, let's get into this. All right, so the first that I kind of, think is really important is talking about and sharing with the parents what are their kids doing in a Bun Grad dance class? Like, so let's talk about like when they're very first coming into the class and kind of as they move up the levels. What's going on in that studio?
Yeah, so basically, so Hallie and I, we teach our class together, which is really helpful, especially at the Bun Grad level, because they all have a lot of energy. They all know their river dance steps, and they've been practicing dance steps. So it's kind of funny when they come in and now we're like, okay, we're going to start slow. We're going to start with our first position, our points, getting our cuts and our tucks, and they just want to have their fast feet, their feet of flames. So we basically do our warm-ups. And for us, the very first thing that we teach is the reel, because it's the nice fast-paced music. Mm-hmm. Love it. And the reel is something the music's easy to find. So we basically start with a reel, and it's getting the kids to really focus on the basics, the fundamentals of Irish dance, the beautiful turned out feet, the arms by your side, and really listening and feeling the music. So that's like primary. When you first come, those three things are the three main things that we teach and are something that the parents can also look for when the kids come home to start their Irish dance career.
For sure. And another thing to add, we're going to get into the music aspect of it as well, but there are some really great places for parents to find music. So two places that we recommend very highly are the Beats app, Beats, not Beats like, the ones you eat, which I love. And also the Fesh app, and Fesh is again spelled Feis. Never feel funny about asking for clarification about how to pronounce the Gaelic words, how to spell them. One of the really cool things about being in Oncogel is that they do encourage their dancers and they encourage their teachers to have a knowledge of the Gaelic language. So we do try to teach those words as best we can, but never feel intimidated about them. Trust me, like don't ever feel bad about asking what those words are, because they are different, right? They are. And when they do go overseas, the dancers will oftentimes be introduced with Gaelic numbers and also with English as well, which is pretty cool. You'll all learn to enjoy that as you continue up the range of dance.
It's really nice. Usually in our Bun Grad classes too, we love to count in Gaelic because the kids love that too. Just going all through the numbers, and I think they
I knew we had the right teachers on today. That's amazing. That's epic. So guys, you heard it first. Thorn Academy, Irish dancing with Gaelic lessons thrown in for free. So we really love a well-rounded dancer. That's awesome. So that's really nice. So again, when your dancer's first going in, it's really the basics. It's turning out the feet appropriately from the hips. We're very big in USA IDA about doing things healthfully, and the right way is to turn out from your hips naturally. You're focusing on posture, shoulders back, arms in, pointing the toes, and like really listening to the music and preparing yourself for the next level. So when a dancer starts to get the hang of that, they move up. It depends on what they're doing with competition, but they'll start learning more and more steps in choreography, and more things that are a little bit more difficult and challenging, but the technique always stays the same. So
Yeah.
I think, a really good tip, just like the girls were saying, is that if you have a dancer and they come home and they're having so much fun, they're dancing around the house, listen, if this is a brand new dancer and they're age 4, 5, 6, even 7, practice has got to be just really fun. They may
Yeah.
not want to practice. And as a parent, you need to make the decision as to how you want to handle that. We cannot tell you if you should force your child to practice or if you should be really laid back. That's kind of the parent's decision to make with that child and also with their individual teacher. One thing I would say, though, is if your dancer is committed and really loves their dancing and is interested in becoming either a performance track Irish dancer or a competitive track Irish dancer, or even both, that practice is extremely important. This is a very intricate dance form. Has a lot of moving pieces. They have to master eventually not only their soft shoe dances, but also hard shoe dances. And Irish dance is really one of the only specific dance forms that has those two mediums. A lot of other dance forms, ballet is just ballet, tap's just tap, hip hop just hip hop. But Irish, you have to be really good in both of them. So that technique is so important.
Yeah, I love to say that hard shoe is called hard shoe because it's hard. At it.
It's true. It's true. And that's another thing as well, is that as your dancer continues on and keeps learning, at a certain point the teacher is going to say, okay, it's time for this hard shoe class. Or your dancer may be like, I want those hard shoes. So again, every school, right, is going to have a little bit of a different time frame, a different way that they bring in the hard shoe. Some people, listen, I've heard of some people starting day one, they'll do some soft shoe and then the hard shoe. It's really dependent on the teacher. And just take it a day at a time. I will definitely recommend discussing with your dancer when it is appropriate to put hard shoes on throughout your house and when it's not. If you have hardwood floors, there are lots of different flooring options that you can get for practice to put down on the floor to protect those beautiful hardwood floors. So as they progress up, we can all help you out with that kind of stuff. But
keep those floors safe.
Exactly. So, all right, I'm a beginner Bun Grad A mom. Okay, I bring my daughter into class or my son into class, and they're loving life. They're having so much fun. And the teacher mentions to me, so and so's doing really well. Maybe they need practice on keeping their arms in while they're dancing, or keeping their back foot turned out, or pointing their toes. And let's say I have absolutely no knowledge about Irish dancing, right? And I'm like, okay. One thing I know as a teacher is that I can hold on to those few things that the teacher mentioned, right? And so I can say, okay, all right, Susie, do you want to practice your Irish, today? And they may say, no, I want to play Barbies. And you're like, okay. Or they'll be like, yes, totally. And you put the music on, right? Again, using one of those apps, which we really do recommend. It just makes it all easy and they have everything appropriate there by level. And you put the music on and they're doing this dance and you have no idea what they're doing. To you, it either looks fantastic or you're like, oh geez, this is the Hot Mess Express. You never know what you're going to get with little kids, right? And that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. But you can think about those things the teacher mentioned on the way out of the studio. Her arms need to be in a little bit more. She's not turning out her back foot. She needs to listen to her music. And you can very gently remind that dancer, hey, Susie, don't forget, try to keep your arms in, just like Miss Hallie said, or, Miss Katie was saying that you need to turn your back foot out during your slip jig, or, make sure your toe is pointed on any of your kicks. And you may, as a mom, or dad, have no idea what you're talking about. Like, to them, they look fantastic. To you, they look fantastic and whatever. But these things really do help. And then I know we were talking right before we started the actual filming about how sometimes the kids will then turn to the parents and be like, you have no idea what you're talking about. We are all guilty of doing that to our parents at some time. Sorry, everybody. um, so I think it's really important to understand, you may not be a teacher. You may not come from the world of Irish dancing, but just to let your child know, that's true. I don't really know a lot, but I listen to your teacher and I pay for your lessons. So I feel like I can just remind you of these things. You don't have to listen to me, but it would probably be a good idea. And that is really true. Another thing that I do know that we as dance teachers, especially in USA IDA, where we really have a mantra of be kind and to pass kindness on, we do really encourage our children to take a moment to thank their parents for bringing them to Irish dance. So we're trying to make that a lot nicer when their child may get stressed out when they're practicing or learning new things, to make sure that they are saying, thanks, Mom, thanks, Dad, for doing
I feel
it.
like we're overdue. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. We wouldn't be here today without our moms.
Seriously.
And our dance dads. They keep us going.
All a part of it.
It's true. See, it's like all love here today. I love this. Love it. Okay, so that's just like a little start of what the kids may need to practice. Okay, so when they're first starting out, you're gonna like throw the music on for them, sit there, turn on your iPad, whatever thing you're using to practice. My mom, God bless her, used to press the button on this Fisher Price tape recorder. That's like how old I am. And I lived in an apartment building, and I grew up in an apartment building, and I would practice down in the lobby, or I'd practice in the hallway back and forth in front of my apartment. So I know that we have a lot of dancers who have all sorts of different living situations. You can practice anywhere. There is no excuse. Make sure wherever you're practicing, though, is very safe, it's decluttered, and that the floor is an even surface. And we really do not recommend practicing on a very hard surface that has no spring to it. However, dance wherever you may be. You'll find a practice space. But it is super important to know that you can make it work. Whether you have a Fisher Price tape recorder or a really cool Beats thing,
I feel like after COVID too, when everybody was stuck doing Zoom, we know everyone has a spot to practice.
Yeah.
You made it work. We know everyone can continue to do so. Outside is always nice.
Yeah.
Outside with the kids, so nice. So everyone can make it work.
I love that. Love that. Okay, so now they're learning all sorts of stuff. And one thing, again, that's really cool about the Kogel way of teaching through the levels, there's very specific choreography that needs to be done with all the dances. So your dancers are going to be learning something called a lead around for each of their dances, which means that when they first start their dances, they're going around the stage in some type of a circular motion. The actual choreography of each lead around may be a little bit different depending on your teacher in school. However, it's still going to be there. So you kind of know as a parent, all right, they should be doing some type of circular movement around the stage when they first start all their dances. So that's a helpful thing. But they're going to start learning more and more choreography. You as a parent may not have an understanding of exactly what it is. Oftentimes you will be able to ask a teacher to videotape the step and just have it for your child at home if they wish to practice that way. Other times, maybe not. Maybe that's just not their thing, and that's okay. But we spoke a little bit about technique, and something that is really important, like we said before, is the technique behind the actual steps of the dancing. Because even though a dancer may be able to articulate and perform a step of a reel or a hop jig or a light jig, if the technique behind that, the way their legs are positioned, the way their knees need to be straight or their toes pointed, if that's not up to the level it's supposed to be, the step will not look as lovely as it could. And the main point of everything is to have the dancer be the best well-rounded dancer they can be. So what are some tips about practicing technique with young and up and coming dancers? What would you guys recommend that they do at home?
So one of the things that really came about also during quarantine time was when the dancer was practicing. It's really great for a mom or dad to take a video on their cell phone, just really quick of their one step, and then let them take a look at it and watch it. Because when a dancer sees themselves on a video, then they're able to see, okay, yeah, I see my arms go out here or my feet go straight. Um, and so just that replay is really great. So instead of mom and dad telling you, you know, your feet weren't turned out, when they actually see the video and they see, yep, mom's right, my feet are dead straight in the middle of my reel. So that's really helpful. That was something that wasn't around when we were kids, and I'm sure that would have helped us a lot too, just to see, oh my gosh, yeah, my left arm is completely out.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really nice because we'll have people send in videos of their daughter or their son dancing, and you can quickly see and correct if someone's doing an over for 7 and we're moving to the left and the right foot is in front and it feels weird. You can quickly correct it and say, hey, if we're going to the left, your left foot should be in front. So that's like an easy quick fix we can usually catch.
No, that's excellent. That's excellent. And I think another thing as well is that your dancers will be doing some type of warm up in their class. So a lot of times they'll be doing a little bit of stretching, maybe some turnout exercises again, turning their feet out from the whole leg up from the hips. Maybe they'll be doing some type of arching exercise. Pointy toes are super, super important. Having those nice, neat, pretty feet is something that will, that if you can start that at a young age, will take them so far in dance. Another thing is just simple things like just balance, being able to hop on one foot or hop on 2 feet. That's really, really important. Because it won't only not only help them in Irish dancing, but really any type of like physical activity they're doing is very helpful. So like jump roping, that's actually kind of a high level thing for really young kids, but the idea of like lifting something over your head and then having your feet jump through is really a great thing to practice with your children at home, regardless of like their dance level. So if you as a parent are like, I have no idea, I really no idea what I'm doing here, let's jump rope. That's not going to hurt them, you know? Or, you know, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I do Peloton all the time now and like pretty addicted to it. And I do love it. But I will say that their app has not just spinning and cardio stuff, it has really great stretching and yoga and stuff like that. And you can find all this kind of stuff on YouTube, you know? So if you feel like, I don't know what to do with my dancer who I know wants to do well and I know is talented and wants to work hard, maybe find a nice video of some, you know, cool stretches that they can do to get their flexibility up, or some, you know, fun things. There's a really cool thing called Go Noodle. And Go Noodle is what kids do at school during little recess breaks. It's like 5 minutes and it's like full out workouts in a very, very fun way for them. And oh my gosh, you guys, Katie, I don't think your kids are quite old enough yet for Go Noodle, but everybody check it out. It's super cute, but it really gets them moving. And they also have like some choreography. There's some dance moves in there too, not Irish, but others, which are really fun. Because as a parent, I think that when you have a child who has an interest in dance, the more that you can do with them physically, the better. I'm going to talk really quickly about my daughter Kiva. So my daughter Kiva is awesome. She's 7 and she has retired from Irish dancing, everybody. I know, shame. She was very, very nice dancer. But when she was about 4 years old, we noticed at school that she was having some issues with gripping her pencils appropriately. Her attention was a little, you know, different than some of the other kids. And after being evaluated, it turned out she needed occupational therapy, physical therapy, and she was diagnosed with ADHD. And I think it's very important that as a parent of a child who may have something like that, to know that Irish dancing is a very welcoming place for all of those things. Nothing that your child may be presenting with at a young age can or should hold them back from turning into a full, well-rounded Irish dancer. That's something I really want to put through. And you will learn some really cool tricks through your journey with having your child in physical therapy about things that you can do to just help them become a bit better physical version of themselves. So you should definitely encourage them and not let anything hold them back, but also have a conversation with your dance teacher to inform them if you're comfortable of these issues, because they will find the best way to work with your child. And a lot of parents will say, oh, my child doesn't pay attention. And every kid has a different way of focusing and a different way of paying attention. So if you see that your child in a dance class, if you're like peering through the window or you're looking at a video and you see that they seem a little unfocused at certain times, don't worry. The teacher will know a way to get them engaged and to make sure they're doing what they should be doing. But, a lot of times I do see parents sometimes being a little harder on kids for not listening or staying out of line. And what I just say is take a very deep breath, look at what the entire situation is or may be, and then speak to the teacher and the child and see what some strategies might be for you to get the most out of those classes. So I just want to say that's really important, because you will see that a lot of times with younger dancers going into class. At first you might just not realize, like, is this going to, you may think, oh, this is too hard for them, or they may not be able to do it. But honestly, Irish dancing might be like the best thing for them. So just remember that. I thought that was something that would be important for parents to hear. Yeah, for sure. Okay. So another thing I know that we would definitely say for parents to start at a younger age with their dancers is the technique we spoke about, the stretching, if you can figure out a way to help them get stretching at home. Also healthy eating, but just healthful eating, right? I mean, you're not having to, like, every parent and family has a different way of focusing on nutrition for their child, and we would never comment on that, but just thinking about, like, what is best to fuel your child. And if you have a super active young dancer who is going to dance class multiple times a week and practicing a lot at home, just make sure they're keeping up with their nutrition. So you might want to speak to their pediatrician if you notice that they are exercising a lot, whether it's Irish dancing or another activity coupled with Irish dancing, and just making sure they're doing that as well. And also proper sleep and the proper amount of sleep is really, really, really important to our younger and up and coming dancers. I mean, it's important for everybody, but just be mindful of that as well. These are all things I think as parents, like, you kind of know, but the kids who do Irish dancing and stick with it, like, they are elite athletes. So think about just what the two of you have accomplished as dancers. I mean, we don't know, we're so used to being around these incredible children that we don't always take a second to step back and say, whoa, they are really, really doing a lot. We just kind of accept it as just who they are and what they do at a certain time. So just make sure that you're encouraging that the best you can at home with what is comfortable for you and your family. And then what would you say for, like, a Bun Grad A, Bun Grad B, Bun Grad C dancer? Like, what is the appropriate amount of practice time outside of class?
So we often say, we were just talking about it today at dance class, that you can really practice anytime, anywhere. And it doesn't have to be a full-blown, okay, let's get out the music, let's get our shoes on, we're doing our reel, our jig, our hop jig, our slip jig. It can be as simple as, we say this when you're brushing your teeth, turn out your feet. When you're in the hallway, do your 1, 2, 3s. Like, so it's as much as you can. And it should be fun. It shouldn't be like, oh my God, now I have to go practice. This is my time to practice. I have to do it now. It should be fun, and it should be as often as you can.
I love to tell the kids that, hey, if you send in a practice video, a picture, I'm the nice teacher, and I'll give you an extra piece that you should tell. Or I'll post your picture and have all our family and friends see it on the page. Like, the kids love that. And, different ages require different things, but you can generally find something that the kids, okay, I see this girl has soft shoes. I'm in the ballet class. Maybe if I practice 2 days this week, I'm going to get a little bit better, and then I'm going to get the gillies,
Yeah.
Sometimes
motivation too. Like, right now we have a lot of Bun Grad dancers. Bun Grad A and B, that's our school right now, the majority. So they're looking at our handful of our pre-open dancers and their dresses and their bun wigs and
The sparkle.
the spark.
Mhm.
And now we're talking about, okay, so if you practice, if this is something that you really want to continue with, if you send in some practice logs and practice videos, one thing that we also do that Hallie's a big proponent of is a dance notebook. So in there at dance,
This is a great idea, everybody. Take
yeah,
a note. Take a note. Dance notebook.
dance notebook. So when you're in class, if you're having trouble with a step or you forget what's the end of knee hop back 2 3 4, or is it hop back 2 3 5, and the dancer writes it in their notebook. And any corrections we might give, like today in class, we were focusing on arms in and keeping your fists, hands and fists, arms by your side. You don't put your hands on your booty because then your arms, hands completely by your side.
I call those airplane arms.
Yeah.
We call them chickens.
Chicken
Well, now they're going to be chickens on an airplane.
arms.
So just, and keeping like that type of a log too, that, okay, so today we worked on our arms. Let me write out the step for the light jig. That's really helpful too. And then the kids also like that because they can flip back and see, okay, what did we do last week? And then to see that progression, okay, we did the reel. Now we're learning our light jig and we're going to learn our hop jig. That also gives them a little bit more motivation to practice too. And making a tally, okay, how many times did you practice your lead around? And then you make your tally in your book. And okay, today's goal, your homework assignment is to do your lead around 5 times. So then they're held accountable to go in, write in their notebook. And it just really gives them good motivation. And if they've completed their practice, they show us their notebook, or their parents send us a video or a picture, then they get an extra treat at class. We do treats at the end of class. It just keeps them kind of engaged, a little bit of motivation.
Because it's hard doing all that, physical stuff in class, and you need a little bit of a...
It is. It's something I actually wrote down in my pre-taping notes, that, your own dance, like as a parent, your own dancers are receiving a reward-based system of motivation in dance class. And it's not like everyone's going to get a prize, that kind of thing. It's just that kids work really hard when it's a reward oriented system of practice or initiating a good skill. And that's the same thing that actually happens in most of their real schools. And I know kids, their school situations this year could be all over the place. So let's discount from this year. But normally, kids may have a sticker chart when they're at school. And these are especially kids, I'd say age 11 and under. They may get a treasure from the treasure box, stickers, things like that they're getting from their own teachers at school. And then also their dance teachers are doing this. So as a parent, even though bribery is not something you always want to kind of get into, it's not really bribery. It's saying like, you know what, hey, if you do your Irish dance practice 3 days this week, let's talk about getting a new coloring book. Or I really know that you love those, cool erasers, or you love slime. Maybe if you're really working on your practice and you do 5 practices in the next however many days, that kind of stuff really does motivate the kids. And I think as parents, like I know myself, my daughter gets that kind of stuff when she does a great job in her reading or whatever. And I'm so reticent to do that myself at home, because you expect a certain level of behavior from your children, but it doesn't hurt to explore that as a way of making practicing a little bit more rewarding for the children and for them to see an end sight as well. Because you have kids who are like working on that one move or that one step, and it's just tricky for them and they're just not getting it. And the one day in class when they finally get it,
That's so good.
It's the best day. And I think it's really important for parents to know that we as teachers, we feel so amazing when your child gets something, and we get so much out of that too. It is like the best day when someone finally gets their jump overs or finally gets their 1 2 3s, or gets their trebles, a full treble in their hard shoes. Like, it really makes us feel great. And then our minds immediately go to, okay, so what's next for them? Like, we constantly are like, okay, you've gotten this, let's keep going forward. But taking the second to really appreciate it, we really do. We really appreciate when your children are making those improvements. So, as parents, help your child get there if you can, because it's just rewarding for everybody, and it makes the child feel so proud. And uh, seeing pride in a child is really incredible, really, really incredible. And it's something that it's a gift that parents can help to give to their children. And we are the lucky recipients of seeing that so often as dance teachers. It's really amazing. So definitely think about putting that system in place. Um, Another thing too, as well, is that every parent is different, and every parent has a different set of um, expectations as to what the time they feel their child should be putting into an activity that they really enjoy, that you're putting time and money into as a parent, taking them to the classes and getting them the shoes and whatever else they may need. One thing that is really, really cool is that, in Kogel, Bun Grad dancers are wearing their school costumes, or they're wearing, a very nice and neat looking shirt and skirts. If the boys, a simple shirt and trousers. You are not going to need to be focusing on the crazy solo costumes yet at all. So that's a lot of pressure taken off of you. But still, it is a commitment of time and energy and of money. And we really appreciate that as dance teachers. So as a parent, you may have an expectation that if your child does this, then they need to practice an amount of time. But we really want to encourage parents to come at it with a very positive way of looking at things. You want to be a lot um, more kind versus, a mommy dearest situation, which, there are stage parents all over the place, and we have dealt with them, and that's okay if that's a tendency, but we really do feel like it should be a very positive experience for everyone. Moms, dads, kids, dance teachers. It should be fun. It should be exciting. It should be like this whole new world for you all to get involved with, because I try to say to people all the time, and you're explaining what Irish dancing is, and it's the coolest thing, right? But it's almost like, if you like Harry Potter, it's like getting into Hogwarts. It's this whole other world that you just did not know existed before you started. So our job is to ferry you through this new world and make it really epic and magical, to bring it back to Harry Potter. See what I did there? For everyone. Girls, I think we covered a lot. Is there anything else that you think parents and dancers should know when they're in the Bun Grad grades, of things that they should really be focusing on as far as practice outside of class?
I think it's important to remember that everyone is different. Everyone is going to learn at a different pace. Everybody's going to take it a little bit differently. Some people might have an easy time with a hard shoe. Some might have a harder time with a soft shoe. It's really important. Don't compare. Don't push it too much. It's important that it's fun and your child love to do it. Absolutely. Like, if they love to do it, they're going to continue. They're going to practice. But as long as we let them enjoy it and let dance be dance, I think it'll be beautiful.
Yeah, and they'll just have that moment when there's something that they've really been working on that's really tricky, really tough. And then that one day they come into class and they nail their over 2-3, and they are just beaming ear to ear that, like, oh my gosh, I finally got it. And just like the way that they practice and learn is very different. We like to practice notebooks. The other thing that we do is we like to sing our dances. So we'll kind of lilt through our reels, our over 2-3 and over 2-3 and over cross cross and over cross cross. So some of the kids, they love that. That's how they pick up on the timing, by singing it while they're dancing. Some kids, you just put on music and off they go, and there's no turning back. Some kids have a difficult time with the timing, but just to get out there and practice and try, just try.
Yeah.
That's all we can ask, and they'll have that aha moment. And perhaps maybe they decide, you know what, I am the hard shoe dancer. I know I myself was a hard shoe dancer, and Hallie was a soft shoe dancer, and the other dances were always a struggle. But if
Okay, I'm gonna quantify that for a second. Okay, so they say that, I don't know if you ever watched these girl dance. They were gorgeous, gorgeous dancers. And that's something, again, I'm just going to say, very cool about USA IDA. All the teachers were really awesome dancers. Like like so good. So yes, there are certain things that come more naturally, I'd say, right, to some dancers versus others. Yes, some dancers are like gazelles leaping around the stage in their soft shoe. Some pound it out and just have rhythm for days. I'm like you, Katie. I was much more a hard shoe dancer than a soft shoe dancer. Um, but you make it work. And I think that's the other thing too, is because you have to master so many dances, and because we're teaching like very in Kogel, what these kids are learning from the get-go, like those lead arounds, like the jump overs, they are a high level of dance for starter dancers, but they're getting it. Like I had the pleasure of being the comments judge at the O'Grady Quinlan Fesh just this past weekend. I'm not sure when this will air, but it was the weekend before taping. I have to tell you, the Bun Grad kids were insane. The posture was fab. What they're doing, I was blown away, and I had never seen that level of a Bun Grad dancer, of like a beginner or grades level dancer, any other place prior to being part of USA IDA and being part of Kogel. What the teachers are teaching the students right now is insane. These kids are set for major success. So I just have to say that I was so impressed with just what the basics are and how well they're doing with things that are very high level, but done in a way and being taught in a way, obviously, that's very accessible now for these younger and up and coming dancers. So I thought that
It's
was
so crazy because
really
they're
great.
learning all of these moves and it never ends. I think that's another wonderful thing in Irish dance is, okay, you've mastered this, Susie, she can do her over, she can do her 2-3, she can do all of these things, but it never ends. There's always more to keep you in it.
That is a great thing. It's true. It's really true. And even when your dancer, we hope gets the very top level of opens, um, there's still more for them to do. Like, and
Always.
and Irish dancing is a constantly evolving, living, breathing dance form. And the teachers in our branch and the teachers in our organization are constantly pushing forward with innovation of like what is possible. I mean, the rhythms, the influence from other dance forms that you can see in the Irish dancing, but it's still very traditional. It's still all dance to very traditional music. It's really cool, like really, really cool. And it all starts, with just the feet out, the arms in, and a toe point, just to bring it back to what you were saying at the start. It's really great. Girls, it has been so much fun talking with you both. I've had so much fun with this. I do have to say, just really quickly, um, we had the coffee talk that's coming out before this is about the camp, the USA IDA camp, which is being held in August. And something that the girls were talking about is how the younger dancers are, when they see the dancers that are at a higher level, how it can really inspire them. I highly recommend dancers looking into the camp program this year, because Bun Grad dancers are very welcome, and it would really be Bun Grad B and above. Bun Grad A might still be just learning their basics, but there's still a day camp option for them. But to be there and to be working on the technique and the exercises with the older championship level dancers could really be an incredible experience for them. So definitely take a look at that. And the other thing I was going to say is, when you were talking about how you sing song your steps, a golden trick again for practicing from good old Miss Colleen for the parents is that a good reel to lilt or sing to your child is "I love you, you love me" from Barney. That's the appropriate da 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 da. So that's a good one for that. And also
I
pop,
like that.
right? The kids now don't really know it, but when I was younger and babysitting, Barney was everywhere. So like that song is like in my head forever. And then "Pop Goes the Weasel" is a hop jig. You can also use it for the light jig though. when you're practicing, not when you're performing on stage. So if you're like, I don't know what this hop jig is, just be like da 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 da. It really works. And I apologize to everybody for my singing, but these tips are really helpful to parents. Because all of a sudden it's like, hey mom, hey dad, I'm an Irish dancer now. And you're trying your best to give them the support that they need. And we really again want to say how much we support and appreciate our dance parents. We have our great Irish USA IDA Parent Advisory Board that we love working with. You guys are a huge asset to our organization and everything that we do. So we want to say thank you to you. I hope that you guys found this very helpful. I know that I did, and I thought this was super fun. Girls, I cannot wait to see you and your rosebuds. For everyone out there, because it's the Thorn Academy, they call their dancers rosebuds, which I love. So I cannot wait to see you guys out there soon. But thank you very much again. And for everyone at home, till next time, have a great day. Bye.